Welcome to Merrick's Dabbling Path.
Yo, what's up, Mark? How's it been
Hey
going?
man.
Yeah,
Yeah, look, to be honest, lockdown's been pretty hard this time round, but
yeah,
yeah, it is what it is, and I suppose it's just focusing on what we can control at the moment. How about yourself?
yeah. Lockdown has been real shit this time, man.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. I think the government is abusing their power that they have. Like,
Mm,
phew, more than yeah. Y-
absolutely.
have you been like? Did you have any work going on lately, or just like?
Well, no, I was being in the fitness industry, all the gyms are closed, so
Right.
now that we can train some people in the park, I'm doing a little bit of stuff with some people one on one in the parks,
Okay,
which is
that's good. Yeah.
it's keeping me busy, but. Yeah, for the last 4 or 5 weeks, pretty much no work is just not good for the mindset.
Right. But were you getting any kind of support from the government during that time still?
Yeah, so I applied for the first time for the job keeper,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, that's been consistent every week, which has definitely helped a lot.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't understand how the government can be supplying so much money for so many people for so long.
For so long, right? Yeah. And you've been getting that as a job keeper, or like that's through your TFN, or you've been getting it as a small business owner through your ABN? Do you
No,
know?
as an so I'm employed, so I work full time for
Oh, okay, right, right.
a boxing gym. So yeah, it's job keeper and as an
Yep,
employee. Yeah,
yep.
yeah, and that's kind of. I was going down the road, last time we spoke of doing my own business and starting my own business, but all these lockdowns, being self-employed, it's just been so hard. So I
Hmm.
thought to myself, I want to get myself a full time job. So
Right.
if anything like this happens, at least you can have some sort of support going on.
Support,
You know what
right,
I mean?
right,
Yeah. So it's kind of worked in my favor in a bit. Financially it's good, but physically it's still the same.
right. And
Yeah.
and how about yourself? Like, have you been like sticking to your workout routines? Been like cutting down on weight? Yeah.
I'd love to say yes, but
Yep.
to be honest, the reality of it is, I'm doing as much as I can. I'm, not doing nothing, but I'm also not in the zone where I'm continually working out. I think working from home,
Mm-hmm.
working out from home, doing everything from home is it's kind of a mental drain. And
Yeah.
to find the motivation at the moment, look, I'm someone who's in the fitness industry, and I'd like to tell you all the right things and say my mindset's great, my fitness is great, my food is great, but I'd
Mm-hmm.
be lying. So yeah,
Right.
no, look, it hasn't been good, to be honest, and I know that definitely the first step for me anyway is like getting my mental health on track, is getting my food and exercise routine down track on pat. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
for me, it's really almost like a constant conversation with me and my girlfriend. It's like, okay, focusing on what we eat and how we move is going
Mm-hmm.
to determine how we're going to feel. You know what I mean? So
Right. Yeah.
yeah,
Not just in the short run, but also in the long run. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, one bit at a time, and I think um, uh, it's such a tough one, Merrick. Like at this time around, like mentally, it's like all the right things to do,
Right.
and you know all the right things to say. But I think a lot of people this lockdown are kind of like experiencing something that they've never really experienced before, in terms of mentally and emotionally, and we're still trying to figure out what's going on. And for me, I suppose a little bit it was like it's easy to do good and feel good when you've got something to look forward to and you've got something to hope for. But I think now, with the way things are going, it's kind of we're in a bit of a hopeless society at the moment.
Yeah, we are
We're
like
not.
pretty much in limbo. We don't know where we are gonna be. Like, what's gonna happen in the next a month from now? Like, like my
Yeah.
girlfriend works in the hospitality industry, and that's been fucked for like,
Oh.
yeah, that's been
Yeah.
fucked with the last lockdown, and then this one is like hit them pretty hard again.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
And
can't
yeah.
imagine small owners of restaurants and stuff like that, like what they've been going
Oh.
through. Yeah,
Yeah, it must be a nightmare.
yeah,
And this last lockdown, I know we just got back into the swing of things for about a week and a half before another lockdown hit,
right,
and I remember it was on a Thursday or Friday, so all those businesses that had ordered thousands of dollars of food for the weekends
right,
for
right, right. Yeah,
completely gone, and some of these people were just hanging on by the skin of their teeth from the last lockdown. So it's yeah, it's a tough world we're living in right now, and I think sort of globally and especially Victoria wide, the energy and the vibrations are fairly low. We're speaking to a lot of my friends and family as well.
right. Cause I think we've been in the longest lockdown here in Melbourne. I think we like hit the world record like a few weeks ago of being in
Yeah,
the longest lockdown in the world. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Well,
and
me.
yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah. I was talking to my girlfriend the other day, and we've been together for a little bit over a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I think out of our relationship, I think 9 or 10 months of that have been in lockdown.
Lockdown.
So
Yeah,
like we're just
yeah.
excited to go out and see
Go
some
out and
friends
do
and
some
go for
stuff.
dinner.
Yeah,
Yeah, and have a
yeah.
normal relationship. Where it's kind of. It's kind of yeah. We're still adapting to this new world, and people are lost and
Right.
frustrated. So it's some people are kind of like, oh, it's not going to be for long, but that's what they kind of said, the first month into it, and now I'm kind of thinking, and you've heard some of the politicians talk about this is the new world order now. It's kind of a little
Yeah.
bit a little bit scary.
So yeah, I heard something on the lines like once the politicians have power or something, they don't want to easily give that up.
No.
Yeah.
No, and that's like in saying that, it's really kind of like made me reassess, what I want to do in the coming future, and
Mm.
I've really started to try to educate myself to a sustainable life where I'm starting to learn how to grow my own vegetables and start to think about the option of living off grid for the short term at least until this kind of stuff, see what happens with it. Hopefully it blows over and we get some sort of normality
Interesting.
back.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
So
that's where I see where I can actually have some form of control for myself.
right. So you're considering moving out, like out of town, like moving out somewhere else, or
Yeah, well, to be honest, it's kind of a far off thought, but yeah, it would definitely be either some sort of like sustainable van or caravan or
right,
tiny home
tiny
and
home. Yeah.
yeah, and just either live off one of George's family's land, or we find our own bit of land and we literally do as much as we can to grow our own vegetables, live off
Right.
solar energy, and kind of live a simple life for 12 months, 2 years, and see what happens.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, because yeah, the other thing too is the whole vaccine is
Right.
another
Right. I was gonna get to that. Yeah.
yeah, and I think that's what is kind of making me, especially recently. My girlfriend had a chat to one of her girlfriends, and
Yep.
her husband is actually a builder,
Mm-hmm.
and he's had a business for a while with 6 employees, and as soon as the announcement was made that all vaccines on job sites in the construction are going to be mandatory as of next week, all 6 of his employees pretty much called up the boss and said they quit, they resign. So he is now a guy who's run a building business who doesn't really want to get the vaccine, is now pretty much have his arm twisted, where the only option he's got to keep paying his bills and keep money in his family's pocket is by doing something he doesn't really want to do.
Right. Yeah. And with the vaccine passports that are going to be introduced, I guess we all get our arms twisted with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. just to go
Yeah.
out to a restaurant and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Mm.
That's where now I'm kind of, at the point where I'm like, I want it to be a last option that I actually, if I have to function in society. That's why I'm kind of, part of me is like, learn the skills of being able to, become self sufficient, and to the point where it'll keep me surviving, and then see what happens in the next year or two. Hopefully this stuff blows over. We don't need any of this stuff. We don't have to be forced to be vaccinated. Then we can get back into some form of normality.
Right. What are your thoughts on the vaccine, though?
Well, look, I'm not a expert on any of this kind of stuff,
Right.
and through my own research and talking to friends of mine, and I'm not anti-vax at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of the fact of pro-choice,
Right.
and I believe that, look, if there's something that is forced to put in our body, for me it's a bit of a red flag.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they're not saying that they're making a force, but it's also making it very hard for people not to.
Right.
And then the other thing is like, when it comes to any vaccine that is taken as a baby and growing up, all these vaccinations have been trialed and tested for years,
Right.
and they've come up and to understand what the long term effects are. And for me, I want to have kids, and I've seen how some tests and studies have shown how this impacts fertility
Right.
on a I suppose not so immediate level of affecting your health. But I've
Mm-hmm.
also seen people who have got it who have impacted their health quite severely. So I don't know, and it's a small margin, but for me, I just feel like I'm not really ready to take that risk yet,
Right.
and I just I just feel like we should be able to have a choice with that matter, and yeah, that's where I kind of stand with it. It's more of a risk factor for me, and the unknown of the future effects that this vaccine could have.
True. I think like getting COVID and then fighting it with your own health and your immune system,
Yes.
and then I think building that immunity up is like a good way forward. But that's like for younger people and healthier people,
Yes.
like yeah. But
Yeah.
if yeah, and I think it's for older people, if they getting them a vaccine, that I see that as that shouldn't be a problem. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is it is an interesting one. Again, for me, growing up, in the health fitness industry, and understanding how the immune system works, and
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, obviously with the amount of people that have had COVID, and the amount of people that have been able to their bodies have been able to defend the bacteria, and the virus.
Right.
I feel like from the way that I eat and live my lifestyle, my body would be able to do that too.
Do that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's it comes down to the question, why aren't we educated more about our immune systems? Like it's a pretty basic fundamental. When you really get to understand health and fitness, that 70% of your immune system lies in your gut. you
Right.
know
Right.
and if you're putting in poor food choices on a regular basis,
Mm-hmm.
people don't understand that that's affecting your immune system. So rather than looking for a quick band-aid fix of like you said, people elderly and with compromised immune systems from birth
Right.
and things they can't control, yeah, absolutely, they might need some help. But for someone like you and me in their 20s and 30s, who you look after their health and are conscious and understand it, the likelihood of us being affected is quite low.
Right. Have you been like taking any supplements like
I
vitamins?
actually,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm always taking some form of greens powder to
Right.
alkalize, with keep the nutrients in from like whole fruits and vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
I take obviously vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin zinc, and I've been taking for probably the last 8 to 9 months a mushroom tincture.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's got all like reishi mushrooms, cordyceps mushrooms,
Mm-hmm.
and lion's mane, turkey
Lion's mane.
tail,
Yep.
yeah, and the concentrated versions, and I've found that has boosted my immune system and cardiovascular system,
Right.
immensely. Yeah.
So you're getting this mushroom mix from Super Shrooms, is it?
The brand's called Life Cycle. So
Life Cycle, right?
yeah,
Ah, okay.
yeah. That's
And is this
they're over in
powder
Bondi.
form or
It's
capsule
in
form?
a no. This is a liquid form.
Liquid form, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Like drops.
Drops, correct. You take about 2 to 3 ml
Okay.
of each drop, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's you mix it with water. Some will have it in your coffee or smoothie, and yeah, you can't even really taste it. But you don't
Yep.
really notice like. For me, I notice energy levels, but when I
Right.
was training consistently, the biggest thing I did notice was how much it improved my cardiovascular, and for me that shows that it's really working on a cellular level where it's cleaning out your blood and keeping your blood clean. Because if your cardiovascular is getting better, it means your body's being able to utilize more oxygen from all over the body. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it's noticing that I always yeah, it got me excited.
And is this like each mushroom has their individual dropper, or like it's all in one that
Yeah,
you're getting?
yeah. So each mushroom has its individual
Individual
dropper.
dropper, yeah. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Nice, nice.
yeah.
Yeah, cause I've been having the Super Shroom mix for about a year now. Yeah, and
Nice.
it's really good. I think
Yeah,
it has the similar lines, man. Rishi,
yep,
Chaga. Yeah.
yep. I definitely think it's the trend at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, from the understanding of the research that I've seen, like mushrooms date back for thousands and thousands of years.
Right.
So anything that's been around that long on this planet must it must be it's surviving for a reason.
Yeah. Uh, have you been like you were speaking about the gut earlier? Have you seen like some latest research about like you're meant to have fermented food at least twice or thrice per day, like in at least 2 or 3 times part of your
No,
diet?
no,
No.
I haven't heard the
Mm.
recent one. No, but
Right.
I do. Yeah, go ahead. I'd love to hear that.
So I have you heard of Huberman?
No,
I
I
think
haven't.
yeah. So I think he's a Stanford University professor. They've been doing research of how the same thing that you were saying, like the gut is like really. I mean, like the gut health is really important, like for immunity.
Mm.
But the research also shows that, like, instead of taking vitamins and like, I mean, vitamins are good, right?
Mm.
But instead of taking those vitamins, instead you have like, what do you say, fermented food
Mm.
at least 2 to 3 times per day, like or part of your meal. It
Mm.
really helps boost your immunity and like
Mm.
overall health. Yeah.
Yeah,
So on that, yeah. So I've been making kombucha for the last three
nice,
months. Yeah. And I've been probably having that every day. And then there's
nice.
like another pickle that you can make out of cabbage and leave it to
Yes,
ferment. Yeah.
good. Yeah, we eat pickles and pickled foods
Right.
and kombucha quite regularly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like when it comes to like I was involved in a health company a long time ago, and the whole basis of their products were digestive health and alkalizing,
Right.
and that's one bit of knowledge I'll take with me for the rest of my life is that probiotics and enzymes
Mm-hmm.
and alkalizing it will change your immune system, change your whole body.
Right. I remember you telling me that you had the pH level. You had something that you could increase the pH level in the water that you drink and something like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use a water filter that has
Mm.
a 9 pH level, so it's quite alkaline in the body, and it's a very high antioxidant level. So yeah, but for me, when it comes to anything, it's like first thing is the gut health with probiotics, alkalizing, and antioxidant. Because the key is like you said, that research makes sense. Is you're getting the probiotics in the body to eliminate all the bad bacteria. Because there's no
Right.
point putting in all the good stuff if you've still got a a lot of bad stuff in there, because at the end of the day, your body is just going to keep absorbing that. So you clean out all the bad bacteria and stop the toxins from being leaked into the bloodstream. Then you can start putting in the good stuff, and your body will absorb the nutrition and the nutrients of that a lot more.
Yep. Mm.
Yeah, and that's what I found for sure. It was like, I even noticed that, it's a uncomfortable conversation a lot of people have is like, how often do you use your bowels a day? You know, me,
Yeah.
me, me and my partner, we talk about it on the regular.
Right.
Like how often have we gone? What does it look like? What color
Right.
is it? It's
Right.
it's
Right.
it's really important because really that's your tester of how your gut health is going.
Yeah. So what's like? So coming to that, like, how often do you go actually? Like in a
Uh,
day?
I go 2 to 3 times on a regular
Hmm.
basis. Yeah, and I can definitely, notice that if I haven't drunk enough water for the day, or if I haven't eaten enough fiber or fruits and vegetables, that I won't go as much, and
Right.
then I'll feel different. I might get a headache, or a lot of people don't realize that headaches too are toxins leaking into the bloodstream. So if you've got a backed up colon, where your villi wall in your colon is constantly blocked, then the nutrient you're putting in isn't getting absorbed. What is getting absorbed is all the fermented food that's sitting there for days, sometimes weeks.
Right. Right. Right.
So, the first key is making sure that there's no, you're not going to have zero, but having as minimal amount of feces, sitting in your colon that's fermenting. Because,
Mm-hmm.
once you can, keep your body regular, then that means that you've got a minimal amount of stagnant toxins in your body.
Right. In saying that, do you use like a step stool like while using the bathroom as well? Like, so just to elevate your feet higher, get your
No, yeah.
colon clear. Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, I have heard that, use that. Georgia has definitely been saying that we need to get one, so
Right.
that's on the to do list for sure, and I definitely can see the benefit of that. Yeah,
Yeah, it just changes the angle of like, yeah, how your body can push stuff out of you. Yeah.
yeah,
I think just a regular, like if you have a tiny a dustbin in the bathroom as well, like I just use
mm,
sound like just a regular dustbin that's just drag it under my feet.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
elevate my legs higher. Yeah.
yeah. Well, it all comes back to thousands of years ago when we didn't have toilets.
You're right. That
The
was the
normal way of doing it. Yeah, and
yeah.
even when I lived in Bali for 10 months, and you go to some of the shops and they would have just holes in the ground and, as an actual toilet, so they didn't have a toilet seat, so you would have to squat.
Squat. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's sometimes retreating back is sometimes better for the body as with the amount of technology advances we have.
Right.
Sometimes going back in time is better for the human body on a physical level. That's for sure.
And another thing that I'd like see wrong about the Western society is the use of tissue paper. I really don't get it. I
Yeah,
really feel the way like, yeah. I mean, many of my friends who've moved here to Australia still like have like, yeah, gone to sticking to tissue paper now. But I
yeah,
feel like water is the way to go.
yeah. Well, I remember we having this conversation when we worked together.
Right.
When the pandemic hit
Right.
and
Because the
everyone's running
tissue
for the
paper
toilet.
crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so quite funny.
But yeah, I mean, like I'll put a situation like imagine you get shit on your arm, like on your forearm or something. Ooh, you muted yourself.
I'm all good.
Yeah,
Are you back?
yeah, back. Yeah, imagine like you get shit on your arm, on your forearm or something. Are you just
Yeah.
gonna wipe it off with tissue paper?
No, exactly. You're gonna use water.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's just obviously it comes down to conditioning from what people have been used to for so long.
Right.
But yeah, you're 100% right. Like, and most people don't even know how to use it properly. So I
Mm.
remember when I first went to Bali and I was busting to go toilet, and I was in the air. It was in the immigration center, and I was getting my visa extended. And it was just waiting there I was still there for a couple of hours, and I was busting to go toilet, and I went into the toilet and I just saw water everywhere, no toilet paper. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, I go up to the office. I'm like, excuse me, tissue paper for toilet. He goes, what's that? they didn't even know. It was like, no tissue paper.
Right.
So yeah, that was my first forced experience, and yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it makes sense.
Yeah, you get like stuff off eBay, and you don't really have to use your hand to get in there. Like just a spray bottle kind of a thing with a nozzle, like a long nozzle, and you can just spray it out.
Yeah,
Generate, yeah.
yeah,
Probably give that a go.
yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. What else was I gonna say? Also, like, how much of weight have you lost like recently? Like what was your highest that you weighed and then come drop down to now?
Yeah, my highest was pretty close to 180 kilos. It was
Woo. Yep.
179.9. And yeah, the lowest I've got down to is 130 kilos.
Right.
I'm probably about 5 kilos up from that.
Okay.
Yeah, so my goal is to get down to 110 based on the scans that I've got. You know, my body muscle mass is around the 95, 97 kilo mark. So yeah, I want to get to the goal of around the 12-15% body fat mark, which probably gets me to about 110 kilos. So
Okay.
yeah, I've got about another 20-25 kilos to go. I'm obviously at the point now where maintaining is a good place to be with my mindset. I definitely need to get more motivated around that area at the moment. It's harder with the lockdowns, but it's definitely still a goal I've got in mind. But yeah, that so far I've lost close to 50 kilos.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're talking about these scans. What kind of scans have you got now?
What's it called? It's called a Volt scan.
A
That's
Volt
the word.
scan?
A
Okay.
Volt scan. Yeah. So you stand on a plate which sends electronical signals through the body. You also hold your hands onto the machine as well, and it gives a fairly accurate reading of not just your weight, but it breaks down even from each limb. So it'll give you a left arm reading of your muscle and fat ratio and also your bone density, right arm, left leg, right leg, your torso, and it'll also measure your visceral fat, which is probably the most important reading. So that's the fat that's around the organs of your body that you can't really see. So yeah, that can only really be eliminated through more so your stresses of making sure your sleep's better. You're not drinking too much caffeine. Your body's pretty much making sure your body's not always in fight or flight mode.
Right.
So your body's like natural instinct is to hold on to fat around the organs when the body's stressed. So it's a good understanding of not just weight on the scales, because weight is important. Obviously, if you're 80 kilos overweight like I was,
You're right.
but when you're somewhat maybe you got 5 or 10 kilos so to speak to lose, it's more so understanding where is that fat and what changes you need to make, and also understanding your muscle mass ratio as well, because at the end of the day, the more muscle mass your body has, you're going to be healthier, your bones are going to be stronger. And for me, it's more so about longevity. Like I want to get to, 60, 70 years old and still have a functioning life.
Right.
So, having a strong muscle density is going to give me more of a chance to be strong enough to carry my body through life.
And where can I get one of these scans done?
Most gyms, like I use at a body fit gym.
Okay.
So you could probably go into a body fit gym. They might charge $20-30 for a scan.
Okay.
Some F45 gyms do it. Some local gyms have them. They're quite expensive machines. I think they're 10-15 grand machines. So the smaller studios probably so much don't, but the bigger studios usually do.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I should try it. And did you get blood work done as well? Like.
Not recently. When I was over
Okay.
in Bali, when I started my weight loss journey, I got some blood work done, but yeah, not recently.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And in terms of sleep, how many hours are you looking at, like, per night, like that you've been getting lately?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I had the conversation last night. I just started reading a book called Atomic Habits, which is
Okay.
really cool, and it talks about the one percenters, and for me, I also watched a Joe Rogan podcast about sleep. I think you might have listened to it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the sleep diplomat must have been on there.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, and it
I
was
can't remember
fascinating.
his name. Yeah.
Yeah, I know one quote that sticks in my head, and he goes, "The world's biggest ever sleep study was done during, daylight savings." And he said that obviously daylight savings is participated by about 1.5 billion people around the world, and the night that we lose an hour of sleep, the rate of heart attacks the next day goes up by close to 30 something percent.
Okay.
So yeah, so listening to that really made me go, you know what, sleep is really really important, and my goal at the moment is getting into a better routine for sleep, and I aim to get, for me, if I get anywhere between 7 hours, I'm good.
Okay.
6 hours I can deal with, I can function on.
Mm.
5 hours I couldn't, I can get away with, but I'm not great. But I know
Right.
anything under six. I'm struggling. But on the other foot, my girlfriend, she needs 8 to 9 hours, and she's just a different body
Right.
and a
Right.
different type. So, but I know, as far as the research shows that for any body, 7 hours. Between that 7-8 hour mark, your body's being able to get that peak recovery, even up to 8 to 9 hours, is ideal. Obviously, it's not a perfect world, but getting the routine, for me, of getting into bed by 9 o'clock is the key at the moment.
Right. I think lately I've been going hard and I've been getting just about 6 hours to, yeah, some nights 5 hours, and yeah, five and
Yeah,
a half. Yeah, I probably need to, yeah, sort this out. Yeah.
yeah. It definitely. I don't know about you, but I definitely notice a difference in my, um,
Change.
my, yeah, just my mind state. I
Mm.
feel definitely a lot more focused for a lot longer. I need less coffee. That's one
Right.
one one addiction I need to give up at the moment
Yeah, I was
is
just gonna ask you. Yeah.
because I know that the more coffee I'm drinking, it's usually a direct reflection of the lifestyle and sleep that I'm getting. So if I'm eating bad foods, usually if I'm eating late before bed, that I'm not getting a good sleep. So I
Right.
know, then I'll wake up groggy. I might only get 6 or 7 hours sleep. Then the first thing I'll do is I'll reach for a coffee, and then I'm
First thing.
tired throughout the day, and
Right.
then you're going through that motion. Whereas for me, I know if I don't eat, 2 hours before bed, my digestive system's resting, and
Right.
then my body is recovering. That's another huge point for me. Is like when a lot of people, including myself, for a long time, still do at the moment, which is not great, is eating, within an hour before bed, because
Right. Right.
then
Right.
the digestive system is spending all its energy breaking down the food, and your body isn't putting that energy into repairing the body. So, like the first thing I know is like if I stop eating 2 to 3 hours before bed, that means my digestive system is not working as much. That
Mm-hmm.
means that my body is putting energy into actually repairing the body, and then
Right.
you're gonna wake up feeling a lot more refreshed.
Yeah. So one thing I've been doing lately is that I've been skipping dinner altogether.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So I've been like, I have a
What?
smoothie in the morning. I have lunch around 2 or 3, and then skipping dinner altogether.
Nice.
Yeah. So I think based on that, like I like even 6 hours of sleep is, I feel like great in the mornings.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. That just makes sense because
Mm.
your body will need less sleep because your body's recovering quicker, almost, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. Now in you saying that, like that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I start off my, so I used to start off my days with a cup of coffee. Lately I've been starting off my days with a workout instead. So I get my blood pumping. Yeah, get that going. So I don't feel the need for a coffee.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and then probably at, like, if I wake up at 6:30, I probably need a coffee at around. I think just cause it's like an addiction, I probably have a coffee at
Mm.
around like 10:30 or something like that.
Yeah,
I really don't need it, but just cause of routine, I think it's been there.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's like
but
anything, though. Like coffee isn't bad if you're having one or two, but if it
yeah,
gets to the point where you're having four plus, then you kind of like it's
right.
affecting your adrenal systems, and your body's not never purely resting.
At one point of the day where I really feel like tired is like post lunch. Like I think
Mm.
when I start, like when I think if I eat too much of carbs for lunch,
Mm.
and that's when I feel like really drowsy, and then that's when I reach out for another coffee.
Yeah.
But then yeah, then I've been lucky that I've worked from work, so I still have that tram journey in the evening, and then that's where I get a short nap, get a short
Nice.
nap in. Yeah.
Nice. Well, one thing I might suggest that worked well for me is anytime you're eating anything that's carby or cooked,
Mhm.
having like a digestive enzyme that will help break down the food, so your body's digestive system isn't doing all the work. So you rather than you like it's common after we eat sometimes we get groggy. It's because all
Mhm.
of our energy is going into our gut to break down the food. Whereas if we give them some sort of like assistance with the digestive enzyme that will help break down the protease and the lactase and all the the enzymes will help break down all the proteins and carbs,
Right.
then you might have a little bit more energy as well.
So in terms of a digestive enzyme, like, what do you suggest? Like, is it how do I get one of these? Like, is it pill
Um,
form?
yeah, in a pill.
Okay.
In a pill form, you usually have it 30 minutes to or while you're eating,
Mm-hmm.
and then you know, it sits in your stomach ready for the food, so that once the food gets into the body, your body already produces enzymes.
Right.
So it's not like you need these to break down your food. It's just as we get
Assistance.
older, as we get older, our body. I think it's from the age of 28, our body stops producing as many enzymes naturally. So
Mm.
then that's why as we get older, we start to feel a little bit more sluggish and tired as we eat, and especially if we're it's not realistic to be eating 100% live organic fruits and vegetables every
Right.
day.
Right.
So if we are eating something that's maybe a little bit processed or a little bit cooked, the assistance of enzymes will help the body break it down to the point where it'll not be so taxing on the body.
And yeah. Okay. So have you given this a go? Like, what brand do you suggest you should get in these?
I did it for years back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
when I was working with the health company. The brand I used back then was called Your Health. I'm not sure if they're still around or not, but yeah, most health food stores will have a form of enzyme. Just make sure it's not like one enzyme, so like a protease or a lactase. So
Right.
protease is just to break down proteins, and lactase is to break down lactose. So a mixture of all different types of enzymes.
Mm-hmm.
Will be ideal for a meal.
And you have one before your meal, like half an hour before your meal, you're saying, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Ideally. Yeah.
Uh, with like just after my lunch, I do have like a omega-3 supplement, a multivitamin. On some days, I have probably vitamin D. You think that would affect that as well, like, or that shouldn't be a problem?
No, that should be a problem. If anything, it might help your
Help
body
absorb.
absorb it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. And it's just also like with your supplements is playing around with the times to have them.
Right.
Sometimes first thing in the morning is good. Sometimes after you eat. Sometimes before you go to bed. Like it's one of those things. That there's never a perfect storm. That's why it's kind of what they say is being in tune with your body. And I think for me, because I've been overweight since I was very young. I've always been on different diets and tried different forms of eating, and you start to see how your body reacts to these type of things. So that's when you start to develop more. You become more in tune with how your body reacts to certain things, which I think is important, rather than just following a blanket rule. There's no one perfect way of doing it.
Exactly. Yep. And you've been sticking to your vegan diet lately?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Right.
I've done that probably for about 10 or 12 months recently. I did it for about 2 years, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. And then I introduced meat back into my diet a bit. And then, since I'm at Georgia was vegan, and I was, eating not as much meat. I would have meat maybe 3 times a week. But I just got to the point where, I knew how well the food, how well I felt when I was on a vegan diet. And
Right.
sometimes even now, I might have cravings for meat, which I might have here and there.
Right.
So I'll say I'm more plant based than vegan. So I'll eat 95% of my diet will be plant based. If I feel my body craves a form of meat, or eggs, I'll
Mm-hmm.
do it in a healthy way, making sure that it's
Right.
organically fed and free range and all that kind of stuff. But
Right.
yeah.
So when you're reaching for meat, what meat are you generally getting? Is it chicken or red meat? Or?
Um, it's more red meat
Okay.
lately.
Yep.
Like a low like. It'll all depend. Sometimes I'll crave a high fat cut of meat because my body will need the amino acids and stuff from the fats.
Mm-hmm.
But then other times it might just be a low cut. But yeah, very rarely. I think in the last 12 months I've had it maybe 4 or 5 times.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So have you been have you eaten kangaroo before? Or if pretty
Yeah,
sure, yeah.
from the age of 18 to 24, I think I was eating kangaroo 2 or 3 times a week. Like I was
Yeah,
just obsessed with the how high in protein it was. Like it was,
exactly, yeah.
I think it's something like 45 grams of protein per
Mm-hmm.
100 grams or something. So
Right.
yeah, I was getting, I was having kangaroo sausages with eggs in the morning with
Right.
spinach and mushrooms and these type of things. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I was on a very high protein diet back then, and that was my focus. 'Cause I wanted to build a lot of muscle. Whereas now I think my focus has shifted to more of a high nutrient based diet.
Mm-hmm.
And protein I do get still, but I'm not in that bodybuilding phase of my life where I'm trying to get 180 grams of protein a day.
Yeah. Uh, what about so do you eat? I mean, you've not been eating meat, but do you reach for organ meat anytime, like chicken liver? Because
I
it's
did.
yeah.
I did do back in the day. I used to
Okay.
do kidneys and livers and make stews out of them. And yeah, I did, but not recently. No.
And you think to the vegan diet you're getting enough nutrients as well, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
100%. Probably more nutrients than what I was getting on a non-vegan diet. Mainly for the fact that back in the day, sometimes I would just get lazy and I just do chicken and rice,
Right, right, right.
or tuna and rice, and it was something that was quick and it was something that was easy. Whereas
Easy, yeah.
now it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a little bit more like an easy thing for me now would be a really good salad sandwich, with like lettuce, tomato, carrot, onion, capsicum, avocado, and
Yep.
hummus. You know what I mean? So I'm
Yep.
getting a lot more fruits and vegetables in my diet than I was in the past for sure.
And what sort of bread now for the sandwich?
I use at the moment two types of breads.
Mm.
The one bread that I get from Baker's Delight is a Cape seed loaf, so it's very high in seeds and grains,
Right, right.
and yeah. And the other one I use is a sprouted grain, and it's called Ezekiel bread or Essene bread.
Interesting,
Yes,
yeah.
so it's actually a non-processed bread. So yeah, I usually have that with some avocado, toasted most of the time. It's a very dense bread, so it's kind of like a fruit cake type of density.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very dense. So I like to toast it, with some avocado and some cucumber, a bit of salt.
Yep.
And that's I like that because it's not processed, so it's a lot easier for the body to
But
digest. It's very
desired.
high in fiber. Yeah,
Right, right, yeah.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
All right, Mark. I think it's been a good one. Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, not really, man. It was definitely good to
Yeah.
catch up and chat. And yeah, obviously I could talk about this kind of stuff for for days. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun because the thing I love about nutrition is there's so like I'm not a big believer that you have to be on a vegan diet either.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big believer of people trying things. And for me, the reason why I'm on a plant-based diet is because I tried it. The reason why I've done keto before and stuck to it for a little bit is because I tried it and I saw some benefits and I saw some things that didn't work. So I don't think that there's any one way of doing anything. I think the biggest thing is that a lot of people need to get in tune with their body, try different things, and see what does work, and be honest about something. If it's not working,
Right.
then why we keep on doing it. So if there's something going on with the body, I think the first step is looking at our digestive health and see how can we improve our digestive health first. Then look at all the other aspects. So I'm not here to promote any form of any diet, rather
Right.
than being more conscious on how you are feeling, and being more honest with it too. So when you can be more self-reflective, then you can easily make the appropriate changes without the ego getting in the way.
Hmm. Yeah. Well said. Yeah. That's. I mean. And yeah, I think in terms of the diet, yeah, I think I need to see what I'm putting in as well. Like probably cut down on my carbs a bit more. I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but yeah, I've been working out all that much. I've really been sticking to my weight range, sticking at about 59 to 60.
Yeah,
I really need to get one of those tests done to just see how much fat I have. I think I
yeah,
barely, yeah, I probably in the 12 to 15 percent mark. Because I've recently cut down on fat, but I've been gaining muscle. But also lately I've been like, because I've been training jiu-jitsu, which I've not been able to do for the last month. I mean, I don't know how long we've been in lockdown this time. But I've been, I think I was telling you the last time, I'm not sure. But I planned on competing. So I had a competition coming up which was scheduled to be in August. And just got pushed to November now. So I'm going to be competing as well, so just want to be at my best for that.
Yeah, well, and I think too, like I've had 3 boxing fights myself, so
Yeah.
I understand what it takes to get yourself ready on fight day. And each 3 fights that I've had, I've felt different each time. I remember the first time my legs were so heavy, mainly because of it was the adrenaline that was going on and all that kind of stuff. And then when I went into the second one, it was getting my mindset right, being able to focus on my breathing, and then trying different things, when to eat before the fight, what to eat the night before, and
right.
I found that for me it was like eating minimally the night before was actually better than eating a big meal, because I found that eating a big meal kind of made me feel a little bit sluggish, whereas I would make sure my body had all the right carbs and nutrients 2 or 3 days before, and then I'd come into the fight, my body would feel light and feel ready.
Yep.
So there's so many different ways of doing it, and that's why it's like you just gotta play around.
Have you been experimenting with like breath work? Like, have you been doing any sort of breathing exercises?
I have in the past, for sure. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely one I'd love to implement is once again that book I was talking about with Atomic Habits. But yeah, I remember doing breath work. It's almost a feeling of ecstasy once you you re-oxygenate the body. It's quite a powerful feeling.
And what about cold showers and hot showers or saunas or something like that? Have you been experimenting with any of that sort?
Yeah, I used to do a lot of sauna work for sure, and especially the cold lactic acid and promote more blood flow into the muscle for recovery. That helps drastically.
Okay. Anyways, Mark, I think we'll catch up sometime next month or something. Yeah, it'll be good to refresh my mind on all this stuff again.
Absolutely.
Great.
Brother.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark. Talk
Take care,
soon.
mate.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.